Is the agency of the future already here without us knowing it? Are gurus, senseis, and rock stars ruining how we employ talent in the marketing and communications professions? Will dynamic data reshape and reimagine customer experience in retail? We'll tackle those topics and more, broadcasting live from Cannes Lions at the intersection of business and culture. Disruptive FM. Let's do this.
Bonjour, and welcome to a special edition of DFM. Ooh la la, la 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 la. It's Disruptive FM, live from Cannes Lions 2019, featuring interviews and insights from the International Festival of Creativity. Brought to you by Microsoft Advertising, Intelligent Connections. With your host and raconteur, Jeffrey Colon.
Voila! What's up, everybody? Welcome to special episode number 3 of Disruptive FM, brought to you by Microsoft Advertising. Coming to you once again from the 66th International Festival of Creativity, better known as Cannes Lions. I'm Jeffrey Colon, head of brand studio for Microsoft Advertising. And we are posted up in our outdoor studio here on the JW Marriott Terrace, overlooking the famous Croisette. And it's one of the most spectacular views you've ever seen. Words can't do it justice. There are 2 massive cruise ships out in the bay, a bunch of yachts, helicopters coming and going, and of course, all the foot traffic of the festival goers checking out the digital beach activations across the street. We'll post some pictures on the DFM Instagram, and we have a ton of amazing video that we will be pushing out soon. Anyway, we've had an incredible time here this week and have learned quite a bit. This is our 3rd and final special episode, and we have more insight to share with you, as well as the brilliant and cool Julie Sanford of Microsoft joining us in a bit. So let's get into it. 3 more big trends coming at you.
Here are this week's trending topics. The agency of the future.
Every year there is at least 1 or 200 panels about the agency of the future, and this year was no different. But the mood around this topic has definitely shifted, and in a good way. There is tons of technology that is changing collaboration in the form of software, like Microsoft Teams. There is augmented reality and virtual reality that allow industrial manufacturers to design prototypes that can come to life faster. And there are voice skills which open computing to all, including those who are disabled. It's interesting that the discussions around the agency of the future are no longer rooted in tech, but really around what makes agencies thrive. 3 things: people, culture, and ideas. Tech is enabling this, but it's speeding things up to such a degree that by the time we are learning something new, we need to relearn it. So the number 1 skill for the agency of the future? Coding? More like human empathy. How can you put yourself into the shoes of others so that you understand their pain? We know the agency of the future will be powered by tools like the cloud, collaborative software, and business dynamics. But we also know that its true power lies in its most important power source. It's people.
Trending topics from Cannes Lions on DFM. Gurus, senseis, and rock stars.
What the heck is going on with job descriptions for marketing and communication jobs? Seeking a marketing ninja. Wanted, a search advertising guru. In need of a sensei leader. Language always is shaped and reshaped based on the world around us. And even search engines adapt to this through machine learning on what slang we might be using. But are job descriptions using weird language that is becoming so alienating that no one wants to apply to those gigs? And is it trying to make up for the fact that while the job may sound great, the language is sugarcoating the obvious, that the job is a disaster in waiting? Plus, are these terms alienating to specific genders, colors, and creeds? Language matters, and it's important when we recruit, we get it right if we want to cast a wide net to get the most interesting, diverse, and unique people to empower our organizations to do more. And anytime I hear the word sensei, I can't help but think of the villain from The Karate Kid.
Trending topics from Cannes Lions on DFM. Dynamic date.
So the two things big at Cannes that have been front and center for the past several years, as ad tech solutions have taken prominence, has been customer experience and data. But in most of our conversations, there is rarely a discussion on how both intermix to create new customer opportunities, especially in verticals like retail. Sure, plenty of the demos contain dashboards and analytical monitors and social listening to inform your business of the zeitgeist. But not many are being predictive in how they are reshaping entire verticals. Most seem to treat business as if it were static. Rarely are they making business more robust and dynamic. So what's up with this? We wanted to speak with someone who is on the pulse of data, tech, and commerce. And we found a good one for you. Earlier today, we had a chat with Julie Sanford here on the terrace. Julie is the general manager of global industry product marketing at Microsoft. Let's listen. So data is a huge part of the language the past decade here at Cannes, and again this year when it comes to marketing and customer experience. I have to ask you, what's the one thing you would tell a company here at Cannes that should be enabling them to help them, with their customer experience?
Yeah, sure. What we don't have is a lack of data out there. And so what we are learning by partnering with our retail customers is they have an enormous amount of data both through their in-store experiences as well as their online experience. Now, quite often those are siloed. So the structured data is there, but it's siloed. And then you think about the other phenomenon that's going on with social media. My friend, the CMO from Sprinkler, actually talks about that. That is the biggest telephone in the world.
Is that GradCon?
That's GradCon.
Oh, we have to just name drop GradCon for those who are listening?
That's
the
GradCon.
CMO of Sprinkler? Okay.
Who often says it's the biggest telephone that nobody's picking up. And so I think the opportunity for retailers is how can you leverage technology to reside over both the structured and unstructured data, all to give you better insight to know your customer. Because without knowing your customer, you don't get sales, you don't get revenue, and you're not relevant in the space anymore. So what we're seeing retailers do is leverage technology like AI to be able to identify trends, respond to them real time, and be able to customize and personalize content to the right person at the right time. And then I think the second piece around the data story in retail, at least, is the majority of purchasing starts online. So we all do our research online. Majority of transactions still happen in store. And so how do you continue to have a seamless experience from online in store? So those are a couple of the trends that we're seeing.
Well, trends, tech and trends. I mean, you're mentioning this. You're on the right show here. We love tech and trends. That's really what Disruptive FM is about. So let's get down to it. Who's doing it right out there?
Yeah.
What examples do you have for our listening and viewing audience?
Yeah, sure. And this is the fun part when we get to talk about our customer success.
Right.
So
That's right.
I'll talk about 4 different stories. First is a company called Fabletics, and they are an athletics wear company, and Kate Hudson is the brand ambassador for that. And they're very unique. We would consider them a disruptor in their industry. So they actually started online and then started opening brick and mortar. And they did that because they were getting analytics and information through all their online transactions, but there was an element of the customer flow that they didn't have optics in. Once they opened their brick and mortar store, they started having the associates scan items that customers were taking into the dressing room. And for the items that they were leaving behind, they were asking more qualitative questions as to why aren't you purchasing it? Well, this isn't really feeling like a size 8. This itches, this stretches. So they were able to take the, we call unstructured data of that experience, map it against the structured data that they're learning about from their online experience. And the result of that was an increase of 38% sales revenue because they were able to really optimize the inventory and customize the product development that they were landing in their stores. That's a very cool story because usually we hear it from the other way around, but that's an online going into brick and mortar. The second one that we're really excited about is Natuzzi, which is the luxury European brand furniture store. And they were looking at how can they optimize inventory, because it's expensive inventory, and also retailers spend a majority of their expense on the actual facility of where they're putting their retail stores into. And so we partnered with them on a pilot in one store, and they leveraged HoloLens 2 and virtual reality. and they took their entire catalog and virtualized it. So when customers came into the store, they had access to the full catalog, and they were able to customize what they wanted or what tweaks they would make in order for the inventory to be optimized. And that pilot was so successful, they actually increased their conversion by 30%, and they also cut down the sales cycle by 50%. And so now they're rolling that out to 2,500 stores across the world. Again, it's just a very unique application of some of these new technologies to address some very, I think, legacy challenges that retailers have had. Super excited about Kroger. We talked a lot about Kroger at NRF when we were there in January. This trend is unique for a couple of reasons. We partnered with Kroger first to solve business problems that they were having themselves. So how do we optimize inventory? A lot of expense, you can imagine, in that line of work is expensive. And then they were also knew they had an opportunity to customize and personalize the shopping experience. And they were probably leaving some profitability or revenue on the table when customers came through. So we did a couple of things. We leveraged Azure, and we have something what we call the digital shelf. And they are leveraging through their loyalty program. They understand what customers' patterns are happening when they shop every month. And they're residing over that data. So when I come in to shop next week, it's going to start understanding my patterns and serving up other offerings for me. So that's a cross-sell, upsell kind of a model. And then it's also helping them monitor their inventory in any way so they can start predicting what they need to be ordering in time. So this is so successful for them. They actually have started to coin the phrase retail as a service.
Yeah.
Although they were able to solve their own business problems, I think what's unique in this story is customers are turning into technology companies and identifying new revenue streams for themselves by taking what they solve for themselves and figuring out a way to bring that to market to other customers.
We're here with Julie Sanford, General Manager, Global Industry Marketing at Microsoft. Now, what's the fourth trend that you've identified, the fourth customer you're working with?
Yeah, so we're excited about the work that we're doing with Starbucks. When you think about Starbucks brand and their commitment to customer experience, consistency really matters. And so they're leveraging technology a couple of different ways. They're leveraging IoT technology on the equipment within their stores. And it's a couple of things. One is to do a lot more predictive maintenance, so they can make sure they reduce any downtime that's happening within the store. So again, that's a very customer-centric perspective. You can imagine how long lines get if one of the machines are down. And then the other piece that they're using that technology for is to really ensure that the quality of coffee they're serving is consistent and the best possible quality they can deliver. The other interesting thing that we're working with Starbucks on is really empowering their brand ambassadors, which they call team members out in the stores. This used to be a very manual process where they would literally send out, whether it was announcements for their employees or new recipes in the stores. They've leveraged our team's infrastructure to digitally increase the speed in which they're landing all of that content, but also in a consistent way. And the other benefit of that for them is that it's created this 360 feedback loop. So now headquarters is actually getting data from the frontline workers that is also helping inform different product decisions, different marketing offers, etc. So, yeah, we're really excited about how they are really reinventing themselves.
We love to hear about the tech and trends. Now, Julie, why are you here in Cannes this year? Just curious. This is your first year?
It's my first year.
Yeah, tell our audience why you're here.
Yeah, so on top of it being like one of the most beautiful places in the world, my team is here to really learn more about media companies from the aspect of what are the challenges that they're faced with in this sort of digital transformation era. And the more we can understand that, the better we'll be able to bring technology and partner with those organizations to help them in their business transformation. So I'm just excited to meet a lot of people this week and learn about the industry and bring that back to headquarters in Redmond.
So you see, don't think of data as the new oil. It is really the new enabler to reshape the customer experience in verticals like retail. Julie Sanford, General Manager of Global Industry Product Marketing at Microsoft.
You're listening to a special edition of Disruptive FM. Cannes Lions 2019.
Vous dansez, mademoiselle? Vous dansez, mademoiselle?
Sacré français.
It's Disruptive FM, the culture of business. My name is Jeffrey Colon. We are social animals, and we would love to connect with you. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at DisruptiveFM. You can also connect with me personally on Twitter and Instagram at DJGEOFFE. Huge thanks to our sponsor for these 3 special episodes here in Cannes, Microsoft Advertising. Microsoft Advertising, intelligent connections. Connect meaningfully with the people who matter to you. Microsoft Advertising provides intelligent solutions that empower you to deliver engaging, personalized experiences that value people. Learn more at microsoftadvertising.ai and connect with them on Twitter or Instagram at MSFT Advertising. And that's going to do it for our coverage here at Cannes Lions. The 2019 International Festival of Creativity is all but in the books. We have our big closing night party tonight here on the rooftop of the JW Marriott in conjunction with AdColor. Can't wait for that. And of course, we talked to so many people here that we just didn't have time to squeeze in. But the good news is that we will have loads of bonus content coming your way over the next several weeks. And speaking of bonus content, you can watch the videos of our interviews at youtube.com/Microsoft Advertising. Until next time, from everyone here at DFM and our friends at Microsoft Advertising, have a great day. I'm Jeffrey Colon, signing off from the French Riviera. Time for a glass of rosé.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft's head of brand studio, Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM was produced on location in Cannes, France by Feeler Media.